Zylstra.
Shane Zylstra?
Yeah, like, is he your guy? No. Okay,
No,
Pick
he's
is
the
in.
receiving,
Pick
right?
is
You got
in. Dude,
you got Brock Wright.
Let's just get Mayer. Let's get Mayer.
All right, so they're doing that thing where they're switching over. All right, here comes Goodell.
You got this, Craig. You call it out. Reaction.
I feel like I'm calling them all at this point. With,
you're ahead
with
of
the
me
slight
a
leg.
Bit. Call him. Call it loud. Call it clear.
Detroit Lions select. Come on. Sam LaPorta, tight end. Iowa.
Wow.
When I did a tight end in every round, I barely even talked about him because I was just like,
what?
He's Hawkinson.
Oh, geez, they're messing with us. They're messing with us hard. Dang it.
So here's the deal. They say he's one of the best players in the draft class after the catch. His yak is unreal, and it is. Yep. It really is. Watch him. I think the question is, how can he block?
Oh, that's what I didn't think. That's what I didn't like, I guess, because LaPorta. What? I'm not. I don't hate it, but my I just thought the Notre Dame guy was better. I thought, but I could be wrong.
Once again, and this is good. Hold on. He fits the psychological profile. Okay. They say he looks a little bit like Kittle. Here's what I will say. And this is something that I can't stress enough about LaPorta, because I have watched film on him. And you have to look at something. He went to the tight end U, right? That's a factory at Iowa. Yep. He has the most receptions by a tight end in Iowa history at 153. He was their only target there.
That's right.
Like, they had a horrible receiving core. And I just think it's really, really interesting that you go LaPorta when you still have two guys that are quote unquote like multiple tight ends. And it just tells me that, like, and here's what I will say. Okay, go ahead. You go first.
No, you hate. It's the Iowa thing. It's 100% the Iowa. What do they do? They're boring. You don't watch Iowa. You don't tune into Iowa. So I think it's just for me, it's an Iowa thing where, a tight end from Iowa. Could it be more boring? A linebacker from Iowa, but you got to look deeper than that. We will, of course, but that's where it's just that initial shock. And he's good. I know he's good, but like you said, their offense was so abysmal. He's the only guy. It's tough.
Man, comments are coming in like crazy. I can't get the ones that I'm trying to get. LaPorta looks like a stud. Trust Holmes and Campbell. He does look really good. And if he becomes a good blocker, that's fine. I think I get obsessed with certain thoughts that are like, this is what I would want to do as a coach. And with the tight end, I wanted to get to the point of you can leave a tight end on the field and he can be that swing tackle. You don't have to bring in a swing tackle to be the swing tackle. But let me just envision something for everybody for a second. You have Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield as a receiving running back. You have LaPorta, who is either the best or second best receiving tight end in this draft class. You have St. Brown. You have Williams when he gets back from suspension. You have Jones. You have so many weapons with a good offensive line that it's just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So we spent a lot of money on free agency on the defense. So now we're going offense in the draft. Just makes sense.
And this again with the theme with our 3 picks now is don't hate the pick. Just felt a little too early. And that's just what sticks out. And like you said, with all the tight ends out there, I feel like you could have got one in a few more picks. Maybe not. Maybe there's going to be a run on tight ends. People are like, hey, let's get our tight end now. You see what a good tight end does. We've been trying to find one forever now.
Yep.
We've never had one. Maybe this is the guy.
Maybe this is the guy. Maybe he's the guy that becomes our decade-long tight end, and we're talking about him. Like, here's the thing. What Kittle and Kelsey are great at, especially Kittle, is yak yards.
Yeah.
And that becomes a massive thing when you can throw it to a tight end and he can go get you a first down. Hawkinson, was bad at yak yards.
Yes,
And
he
he
was.
always felt awkward when he got tackled too. It was like he was
And
afraid to get hurt. It
he
was
was
weird.
never ever wide open. It was just a
Never.
tight, and he was tackled immediately. I never
Mhm.
remember him. I shouldn't say never, but
Well, we
rarely
got a
remember
pick
him
here.
running free and just Hawkinson's on the loose.
Mhm.
It's just tight window. He's down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. With the 35th pick, the Raiders, they traded with the Colts. Michael Mayer. There it is. Here comes the run on tight ends. Here
There
comes
it
the run on
is.
tight ends.
So hey, if tight ends start going, then we got our first. Now I don't. Again, you got to decide who's your tight end, who you want, but LaPorta. It's this the LaPorta Mayer thing is just like the Gibbs Bijan. It's who do you like better?
Yep.
And
Yeah, and if
Michael Mayer, good looking guy.
oh yeah, attractive man. We
Yeah,
can say
man.
that. All right.
Big guy. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. There was it was so funny. I was watching College Game Day and they were doing an interview with him and he was just walking around on the field like in warm-ups and stuff like that. And all the game day guys were just they barely could talk football with him because all they could talk about was how jacked he was.
Oh, dude, this guy's like Gronk, man, and that's why you just I don't know. Mayer
He's not as
wasn't.
fast as Gronk.
No, that's
I
right.
think here's what was about to come out of my mouth when we go Laporta. When we're talking about Michael Mayer, it's can we as Detroit Lions fan accept a tight end who's getting 40 catches a year, 35 catches a year, but a really good blocker?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, don't draft Michael Mayer.
Ah,
Because and I mean in certain systems he might get more. I think it's really interesting. Don't they still have Waller? Or did they trade him? The Raiders. No, they might have traded him.
they traded him, and then he got a big deal with somebody
like New York or something, probably. So yeah, no, I do think that that's really interesting though, that happens. And that seems to be the theme. That seems to be the theme this year is we're picking guys a little before, but Laporta was going first round in a ton of mocks, a ton of mocks. So it's not like we reached on Laporta. We just took him before two other guys that were better fits for Detroit. And I think the other thing we had to look at with that is Laporta kept going in the teens and 20s in mock drafts, just like Mayer did. Mm-hmm. Washington was not going in the first rounds in any mocks unless it was Detroit Lions mock drafts to the Detroit Lions if they traded back into the first round.
That's right.
The NFL didn't view Washington at the same caliber as Laporta, Dalton Kincaid, and Michael Mayer. They just didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so now we pick again at would have been our original
48
spot. Okay.
And then 55.
55's the